What's going on? Back. We are back. We are back. We are back. We took a week off, but now we're back, baby.
We're back.
I am Miho. I don't know if I said that. If I did, you get to hear it again. Joined as always by my co-host Pags or Pugs, depending on where you stand on his takes. He is here regardless to discuss with you guys the NFC South and the NFC West for the Intentional Grounding series that you're currently listening to because you guys clicked on the episode and it says that in the title. So you already knew that.
NFC West, NFC South. I don't know where to go from here with these two divisions because I don't really care about them because it's all running through the NFC East this year, baby. But
what do you mean you don't care about them? This is going to be our key competition. You should care about these divisions more than the other ones.
We own these divisions. Alshon Jefferson.
Okay, Pags. When is the last time that we beat the Seahawks?
Okay, except for them. Except for the Seahawks.
No, but seriously, when was it? Because I don't know.
Maybe before Russell Wilson. I don't think we've ever beaten Russell Wilson.
Right? I know I've seen him lose to him in person before, but
so have I.
We own this division. You're full of shit. I love it. But honestly, dude, it's a tough one, man, when you're looking at it from the surface level. You got the Rams, who were obviously in the Super Bowl last year. The Seahawks with Russell Wilson, who obviously we just mentioned. The 49ers with Jimmy Garoppolo coming off an injury, and that was everybody's Cinderella last year. And then the Arizona Cardinals, who may be the most exciting here with the number one overall pick and the best-looking young hotshot coach in football all of a sudden. Think about the coaches in this division. They got Kingsbury, McVay, and Pete Carroll. All just savvy, sexy dudes, man. How about that swag in the head coaching room?
And who's the 49ers head coach?
Oh, dude, it's Kyle Shanahan. He's a young, good-looking man myself. Oh, dude, this division just locked and loaded.
Touched on it. Why don't we start with the Arizona Cardinals? Because they've had the number one pick. They had the biggest upheaval the last couple of years. Really, 4 or 5 years ago, they were going for it, and it never kind of came to fruition with them. So now they're starting over with Josh Rosen. Oh, wait, no, he's gone. We're starting over with Kyler Murray. Do you expect Cliff's year to be as successful as his early years at Texas Tech?
They're an interesting team to figure out, man, because part of me thinks that Kyler Murray is going to be able to win a couple of football games with his talent, similar to the Baker Mayfield effect of a year ago. His just athleticism to extend plays and then be able to sling the rock down the field to weapons such as Larry Fitzgerald for another year. And I believe, they still have David Johnson in the backfield.
Yes, and everybody's darling in fantasy.
Yeah, with Fitzgerald, you're going to have a couple of weapons out there for Murray, and I don't know much about the defense, to be honest with you. I do see their over-under at 5, so not predicted to be somebody who's challenging for the title in this division with the Seahawks and Rams really having that on lockdown, but not looking to be the number one overall pick again next year. And I think that's accurate, man. I think this is a 6-10 team, 5-11. They do better than they have in the past just because they have more talent in the building, but certainly not somebody who's challenging for playing in January.
They surely seem to be a team of rebuilding / we're going to win in a couple of years. And that's why they bring in like a Terrell Suggs to kind of mentor these young cats to get them ready for the next year and everything like that. So they had Jordan Hicks. If he could stay healthy, he'll be a solid linebacker for them. We know him very well from his Philadelphia years. I agree with you. They're not going to be the doormat of the NFL, but I don't see them being anything to write home about.
That's right, man. And the team right above them that, again, could be the tricky one because last year, Jimmy G, 2 years ago, he went 5-1 as a starter or 5-0 or something like that. So obviously everybody was like, oh, they're going to go 10-6, no problem, win 11 games. He's the best. And he got hurt, week 1?
Yeah, week 1. He tore his ACL.
That was a damn shame when that happened because I was really looking forward to that. So I guess good news, bad news is he tore it week 1, so he should be fully ready to play here in week 1 of this year. It's just a matter of now the guy hasn't played football again in 12 months, and can he run around because he was a little bit more athletic Then Brady with the Patriots background, just kind of comparing the two in those offenses, there was a little bit more outside the pockets, rollouts and things like that to get the run pass option going. But the over under with them is 8, dude. And that one, I got to say under until I see it. But having said that, if they go 8-8, I think it would be a that crazy of a surprise.
Well, I think your best comparison there with the ACL thing is what we saw with Wentz last year. He came back a little earlier than what Jimmy G has a little more time to recover.
Yeah, 2 more months, man. That's a long time.
It's still mentally, takes a toll on you trying to get back out there. I mean, full speed football is completely different than just throwing routes in a passing tree. So it may take a couple games, and that's why I think the under is probably in play unless he comes out and lights the world on fire like he did 2 years ago. I mean, this team added some solid defenders in D Ford, who, as long as he can stay on sides, is going to be a solid player for them.
Oh, yeah, the infamous. That is the worst offsides ever, where literally, dude, you just line up offsides. You don't even jump. You've lined up onsides how many thousands of times during the year, and just the one time you're just an a-hole costs you the frickin' game.
And you can't go to the Super Bowl. I mean, unbelievable. And, hey, they had Nick Bosa, who he's got a hell of a time to recover since his last time playing football, since he took half the year off from Ohio State last year. So
yeah, he had the hernia or groin issue or something he was working through.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting with DeForest Buckner still on this team.
Richard Sherman, if he can bounce back.
Yeah, man. I'm not going to say it because I don't.
Come on, Pags. Come on.
We've been gone. Well see this team.
We've been gone for a week. Come out. Let's go.
All right, here it is. The Niners are going to be a wild card team.
Ooh, that would mean that they're hitting over 8. And if you go over 8, that's 9. And guess what? The Eagles were the 6 at 9-7 last year. Not that crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Not that crazy.
Well, the team that they're going to have to prove to me that they can beat is the Seattle Seahawks, who always seem to be, ever since the Rams kind of taken over this division, but the Seahawks are always that steady organization that when the season starts, they have the option of getting into the playoffs. And they did last year, losing to the Cowboys. But
so without getting into too much detail there, Pags, the Seahawks over under 8.5. So those two are comparable according to Vegas. Now, with you saying the Niners making the playoffs, I'm presuming that means Seattle is not, because 2 wildcard teams out of this division, I don't know with the depth in the NFC. So I guess you're saying the Niners may sneak ahead of Seattle here.
I think the Niners sneak in over Seattle. I think Seattle has this moment where you kind of see the Legion of Boom days are over. I mean, they add Ziggy Ansah to the crew, but losing Frank Clark, Earl Thomas flipping off the entire organization on his way off the field last year, he's gone. Losing Justin Coleman, I think this year might be a down year. It just all depends. I think it's going to be a similar year to 2 years ago where Russell Wilson had, 95% of their touchdowns.
So that's the difference, man. That's the difference. And as I'm reading some stats here as you're talking, it's kind of swaying me in the other way for Seattle over the 49ers because,
come on,
dude, Russell Wilson has proven over and over that he can carry this team by himself. I'm looking at it. He's won double-digit games in 6 out of 7 years that he started. Oh, and in the 7th year, he won 9 games. Okay, so the guy has never been worse than 9-7, and over 7 years, man, I think that's long enough for me to literally just dumb it down elementary style and say, until this guy doesn't win 9 games, he's going to win 9 games. So it's the over, thus San Francisco would have to be under the 8. Obviously, that doesn't take into effect all the changes you had said, but sometimes the most important position in the entire sport can, overtake some of those deficiencies. And that's a wild stat, man. I did not know that until I was just looking at some stuff here, that he has won 9 or more games in every year.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, to say the least. Let's go to the Super Bowl losing team, the Los Angeles Rams.
And your favorite quarterback, Jared Goff.
Oh, gosh. You guys smell a little Super Bowl hangover here.
Ooh.
any team not named the Patriots has to deal with a Super Bowl hangover. It's the losing team that does it. 2015, here's some stats for you. Carolina Panthers, 15-1. Go. They lose to the Broncos. 6-10 the next year. Bears, 2006, 13-3 to 7-9. Eagles, 13-3 to 6-10. Panthers, 11-5 to 7-9. Raiders 11-5 to 4-12. So basically, if you're not the Patriots with Tom Brady and losing a Super Bowl, it's tough to get back in. And you saw it with the Falcons 2 years ago when they lost to the Patriots. They had to stretch and claw to get back into the playoffs that year and end up losing to the Eagles in the divisional round. So it has happened, but I don't know. Something says to me that this Rams team, with all that additions they had the year before, I think it smells like this might be the year where they kind of take a step back and people kind of find that blueprint that McVay has had people tricked on the last couple of years.
Again, doing some research on him here, it's a topic of conversation that I do not like to or enjoy talking about. And it's the health of the team. And the Rams have had arguably the healthiest team over the past 3 seasons based on games missed by impact players. So, obviously,
Yes.
if they stay healthy again, man, they have the talent in the room to do exactly what they did. They got Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks, Todd Gurley, Aaron Donald, Jared Goff, all signed through at least 2020. So the core, similar to Philadelphia, is in place moving forward. It's just a matter of if Gurley is still healthy or what the hell's the deal with his knee. If Robert Woods continues to be the speedster, if Cooks can, doesn't lose a step, if Cooper Kupp can come back from an injury, and all these guys can stay healthy. Because if they do, I disagree with you, man. I think this team's going to be the team that, is challenging the Eagles, similar to last year. I think it's going to be similar at the top with Rams, Bears, Eagles, Cowboys, right there, dude. Their over-under's at 10.5, and I'm hard-pressed to take the over on that one.
You touched on him right at the end there. I was going to say their biggest addition this year is the return of Cooper Kupp, because he was unbelievable last year, dude. In fantasy, he put up ridiculous stats. Here, Goff went 190 for 273 when targeting Cooper Kupp last year at a 69.6 completion percentage, 9.7 yards per average on pass, and 17 touchdowns. That is unbelievable for one guy.
Yeah, you're going to miss that guy when he goes out, and somehow they still made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, a penalty here, and they probably aren't in there, but that's here the point.
A little bit of instant replay in 2019, and we got a different representative, but that's neither here nor there.
All right, so if you had to go 1 through 4.
I'm going chalk, man. Rams, Seahawks, Niners, Cardinals.
Yeah, I'll go Rams, Niners, Seahawks, Cardinals.
All right. I dig it. And like we did in the AFC, we'll shift now to the NFC South, which is typically an extremely competitive division, man. The Saints, Panthers, Falcons, and Bucks are always right around that 9-7, 10-6, 8-8. They're always playing each other to see who's getting in there. And this way, it looks like we'll go from top to bottom with the over-under. And coming into this year, a little bit of a front runner, a little bit of a change there. Vegas does like the New Orleans Saints to continue their run of home playoff games, division wins, and playoff runs here with their over-under at 10.5 for Mr. Drew Brees and company.
I would tend to go that way as well. The Saints not really losing many pieces, and you still got Drew Brees. You're still waiting for that Drew Brees moment where he comes to earth. And I think with quarterbacks, dude, I think we all wait to see that Roy Halladay moment where it's like, oh, he don't have it anymore. But all these quarterbacks in this league that have been in for 10 plus years, they all seem to not have that moment yet. And you're like just sitting and waiting with like Roethlisberger, Brees, Brady, all those guys. You're just like, when are these guys going to fall off? And it just never seems to come. And with all his weapons over there in New Orleans, I don't see it happening this year.
With Drew Brees doing what he does, the only thing that I could think of being an underrated loss, and shame on you, Pags, for not calling it out. Shame.
I was going to get to it. Are you implying Max?
Yes, the center, Max Unger, retired. And people don't usually talk about the quarterback-center relationship and how that could affect some road games or being on the same page. The snap's going to be different now this year from a guy. Maybe it spins 2 times instead of 1.5. And I don't know, man, it's some little things there. But that's the only thing. It could take a few weeks early in the season for that offensive line to get on the same page.
Dude, I had no idea. They added Mario Edwards. I had no idea that dude was still playing.
Still around, right? But lost Mark Ingram. However, I guess Latavius Murray is going to be a complimentary option there to Kamara, who is up in the MVP debate as an option moving forward as the best running back in football.
For sure. And why don't we jump to the team who is currently on the longest losing streak in football?
Oh, who's that?
Carolina Panthers. Didn't they lose? They were 7-1 or 7-3 or something like that. Lost their last 6.
Started 6-2.
6-2. Ended 7-9.
Came crashing down after Cam Newton's shoulder fell apart during the last month of this season.
Unbelievable, man. They were the team. They'd beaten the Eagles on the road, comeback win. Everyone's like, oh, this Panthers team is going to be a team to reckon with. They just fell off the face of the earth there. So Cam, I would argue, probably has one of the more highly pressured jobs coming into the season.
And he's coming off shoulder surgery, so that's going to be an interesting storyline.
I think everyone's waiting for him to come back to 2015 MVP Cam, and I have not seen anything to say that is going to come back.
The Panthers did draft Will Grier as a backup option and kind of a groomsman for the future there. So they're seeing a little bit of Cam getting beat up here as we're getting into year 5, 6, 7, 8 of, the running quarterback that is Cam Newton.
I just see this offense. They just run way too much through Christian McCaffrey. And I just feel like that shit just...
Although he looks like the Incredible Hulk now, so he may be a monster this year.
He is huge. He's a big man, but...
They're over-under set at 8, Pags. What do you think there?
I could see 7 and 9.
I'm going under. I think they're going to be under 500.
Yeah, I don't see them sweeping anybody off their feet this year.
Competing with them for the second spot, according to Las Vegas, is the Atlanta Falcons, with their over-under set at 8.5. And Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, they just keep running it back here. Like you mentioned, the Super Bowl 2 years ago, little bit of a hangover last year. But overall, man, the same core that really made a run and probably should have beaten New England. So what's the deal in Atlanta, man? Why can't they get over that 9-7 hump that seems to be dogging them here for a couple of years?
It always seems like their defense bleeds all year and then figures it out right at the end and then puts together a couple of games. But I don't know, man. I mean, they add Adrian Claiborne.
Some depth on the defensive line.
Add our boy Kenyon Barner to the crew.
Okay.
A little punch and turn there.
There you go.
I think I could see the Falcons at a 8-win team. I don't think the NFC South is going to be the powerhouse they've been. I think the Saints are going to be very good, but I don't see them fighting for another playoff spot.
See, I'm higher on Matt Ryan than most, and I think that the over at 8.5, that 9-7, possibly 10-6 mark. So I do think they're going to be in it for a wild card coming down the stretch. I'm not sure yet if they're ultimately going to get one, but they're certainly going to be in the mix.
I think Dan Quinn this year is his year. If they don't make the playoffs, I could very well see him gone. I know he took them to a miraculous drive from Tom Brady to take them to the Super Bowl, but an early exit 2 years ago and then last year 7-9 with high hopes of having another playoff run in them. If they don't make the playoffs this year, this could be it for old Dan Quinn and his
that is true. And Ron Rivera in Carolina, those two may be battling to see which one of them makes the playoffs and is able to keep their job, and the other one maybe not so much. But the last team here, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the over-under set at 6.5, look to be where they were similar to last year. 6-10, even though they're playing a last-place schedule, they just don't really seem to have the talent as these other teams, specifically the Saints. That's night and day, but even Carolina and Atlanta seem to be a little bit more loaded on paper. And Jameis Winston, talk about a hot seat, man.
he's on the ultimate hot seat. Now he doesn't have his safety net of Ryan Fitzpatrick to win him a couple of games when he gets hurt. So Jameis is looking for that payday in a year or two, and if he keeps doing what he's doing, he could be settling himself into a nice little backup role in the coming years.
That's it, man. I know they signed Ndamukong Suh for that interior defensive line after they moved on from Gerald McCoy, so they tried a one-for-one sub there, but I don't know, man. Again, I just don't see it. But to wrap up this pod, like you mentioned, let's go through the division here one more time. I got the Saints over 10.5. Again, the Falcons over 8.5, Carolina under 8, and I'll go Tampa under 6.5.
I think the big thing with Tampa is going to be Bruce Arians being their coach. He has succeeded everywhere he went, so if he can get Jameis on the right page, maybe I could see them getting on the over there.
Yeah, and they added Todd Bowles, so a few previous head coaches. So the staff is certainly improved in Tampa.
I'll go Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Bucks.
All right, and based on our preview next week of the NFC East and the NFC North, that's when we'll put it all together and give you guys ultimately our playoff teams. But for now, it's easy money, man. Saints and Rams winning those divisions.
That's what it's looking like. Hopefully we don't see both of them in the NFC Championship game this year for 2019.
That's it. But if you guys have an opinion out there, and I know you do because I got some feedback based on our AFC predictions, and my advice to you is to not call me or text me. Call the hotline. Let us know. 484-238-0735. Hit it up. I know there's some Steeler fans out there not pleased with my prediction of them falling to at least third place. So let me know why, because they stink. So it's that obvious. But hotline 484-238-0735.
And if you talk too long on the hotline, it will cut you off, and you will have to come back on
yes,
again.
Yes, we did learn 3-minute window there on the voicemail. I'm trying to learn to see if I can extend it, but 3-minute cap before it cuts you off.
So if you want to ramble, maybe try to write down some notes.
That's it.
Oh, man. Well, hey, guys, along with the hotline, hit us up on all the social media accounts. Football season is going to be right around the corner. Everybody knows it's the craziest time of the year, so we will be just as busy as you guys. So hit us up on there. Hit us what you want to talk about, and we will talk to you guys next week with our NFC East and NFC North breakdown. Later, guys.
Peace.